There we go. Just gonna light some sage really quick. There we go. Now we're live. It's really good to see you today, Tracy.
It's really good to see you as well.
How have you been?
Mostly awesome. That's my
Oh,
go-to, unless there's something that I really need to work on. It's usually mostly awesome. Had some big manifesting moments this week, so that feels good. But just so much suffering in the collective really keeps me grounded in the work that I need to
I know
do.
exactly what you mean. 1 second. I just
No
realized
worries.
it is one of those days where I am just not with it.
Oh yeah. Welcome, welcome.
Well then.
I hear
Hey,
that.
Julia.
Good morning, Julia. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Daniela, Adriana. Hi,
Switch one.
Lori. Good to have everyone.
There we
I'm
go.
Michelle, Connie. Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome.
Good to be here with you guys this morning.
hmm
How's the weather? It's getting chilly up there.
Uh, Honestly, it's been beautiful, which is so good. I
Oh, that's nice.
love the fall weather, but this summer was such a hit and miss. So it's really nice that it's
It
still good.
really was.
Mhm.
We're getting all the rain we didn't get for 3 months.
Oh, see, we had rain most every weekend. It was rainy and windy. So to have this nice, calm, sunny, beautiful mornings, the mornings have been amazing. Good day, everyone. Welcome, welcome.
So everything has been kind of all up in the air. All kinds of crazy stuff happening. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm wondering if there's some kind of solar flares or anything that's making it worse. We got the eclipse. What do you know about eclipse energy and how it affects people? Because you can tell there's almost like an uneasiness in the air.
I think that, like a lot of mysticism, the foreboding energies that people feel are often because they don't understand, and we've been trained to fear.
Mm.
Eclipse energy is a new beginning. It's a merging of two powerful energies that only get to meet face to face on occasion. And so the eclipse energy in what I practice is an opportunity to see all of the pieces come together, the big picture cleared, blacked out for a moment. So it's a fresh start. And that's uneasy for a lot of people because we don't want to let go of those spiritual backpacks of all of the shit that we carry around, the feelings, the experiences. Before everyone got on, I was talking to Laura about like one day I'm going to figure out how to blur my background because like I'm definitely a hoarder. I love to have stuff at my fingertips, whatever I need to have when I do a healing session. And so there's stuff everywhere, but as I look at each piece, it has some significant meaning or a use that I have. I don't want to get up
It
in the
doesn't
middle of
know
a
if he is
session.
a hoarder, in my
Right?
opinion, then, because most of the time when you're hoarding something, it's the stuff you don't need or
Right.
want, well, that you don't
Right.
really need.
Right. And so after I'd said it to you, I was like, no, that's not true. There isn't anything here that I wouldn't want here in the intense energetic situations I'm in, doing psychic surgery with a patient, doing counseling with a couple, doing soul reveal reading for someone. Like this is material ways in which I ground myself or them or amplify myself or them. And so I changed my mind. It's not that at all. And I'm happy I'm not blurred out.
It's good though to have that removal of clutter, the things that no longer serve us, to clear it all out, and to not hide it in the closet too, because when you hide it in the closet, you end up cluttering up your home with things that you don't actually need. And those closets, you'd be surprised how many portals I find in cluttered closets, because all of those energies are intermingling and opening, things that you don't really want.
Mhm.
My
Well, and
guides
that
have given me shit about my basement because I put everything in boxes. I moved here a
Mhm.
year and a half ago. I took out all the things that I want and use, and then I left it all in my basement, the rest of it. So
Right.
I went down there a couple days ago to clear out, make some room to make organite, and I realized how much stuff I have down there that I haven't used. So I've boxed most of it up and I'm getting ready to donate it or to just move it out or something. You know what I mean? Because there's just, yeah, there's no purpose for it. If you haven't touched it in a year, what's the point of keeping it?
That's right. Well, and it falls under the natural law of correspondence that uh, commands, demands that what is physical must also be spiritual in
Yeah.
equal amounts of energy. What is spiritual must be physical. So if we are physically burdened by things that we don't need, even things that we want and don't need, that we're going to create some sort of spiritual disconnection. And as I've shared with you guys this many times, but I would share it again. Spiritual disconnection, thank you, thank you. Spiritual disconnection starts out as uninspired. If we do not want something and we place it in a box and we leave it there, it no longer brings us inspiration.
Yeah.
But then if we continue to stay in that uninspired space, we move to self-sabotage. And as we talk about hoarding, I don't even know how we got onto this, but as we talk about this, not unpacking what we don't need, just saving it for later, that self-sabotage begins to be patterns, habits, and beliefs that we aren't worthy or we have to have something greater than ourselves. And that
Yeah.
turns into the inability to ask for help, and that leads to anger and worry. And so, to get back to the original statement of we don't want to let go of those thoughts, feelings, experiences, and stuff, that's
Mm.
why those energies, especially energies of eclipses, are very uneasy for people because we've been trained to think that they're a negative omen and they're asking us to release something, to have a clean slate and start over. And most of us aren't ready to do that in that moment.
Yeah. Sometimes it's also the ability inability to say no.
Mhm.
Because there my father, it's ironically his birthday today, and I'm talking about him. Happy birthday, Daddy. But he was actually a different kind of hoarder. He hoarded animals.
Mhm.
And it started off innocently enough. He had a farm, he was taking care of the animals, they had a purpose. On the farm, they had a role to play for whatever it is, even if it's a cat or a dog, you're taking care of rodents, etc. But I he would adopt any animal that needed a place, anything. And then he ended up with like 30 cats. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
if you don't say no, you just keep taking on more and more and more and more. And that was a huge thing, because there's so many animals that need homes. So he just said, yeah, come on in, you can have a space. And
Yeah.
then you get to a point where you're overwhelmed, and yet you don't give away the animals because you're like, no, they like it here. So he went through that in his last few years of just trying to find a way of helping, but not hindering himself.
Yeah. And that's the emotional trauma called having to please others. It's
Mm,
a trained, learned concept that you are the least important when someone else or something else has a need, and that it's
yeah.
wrong or selfish to take care of your needs first. Most of us were raised with not even knowing what our needs were, just what everyone around us needed. And that's one of the most pertinent human diseases right now, having to please others at our own expense because we're shamed by our own self mostly and others to
Mm.
take care of everything but ourselves.
It's a good time when there's a disaster and there people are struggling also to help by donating things too. The things that you don't need, extra bedding, blankets, clothing, shoes, all of these things may not be needed right this very second up here, but down somewhere down south where they just lost everything, it is, yeah,
Yeah,
it's really important.
yeah. And that's a challenging that's a challenging space to be in too. That absolute devastation of losing everything, and then also that overwhelming sensation of having to replace everything and having to need things. It's a crack you wide open pain because it's coming from every direction. And so my heart absolutely goes to those who have lost anything, not just in this most recent weather tragedy, but as human beings, we're constantly in that space of evolution and of loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is why so many of us have that. It's really funny we're actually talking about this today, the coincidence of this, because I cleared a hoarder last night. It's an older lady who buys things and doesn't even open the boxes. She just leaves them around her house. And the boxes get bigger and bigger, and the piles get higher and higher. And then she finds herself in a house full of all of these things. And I feel like that's got to be some kind of a trauma that she's trying to heal with through materialism.
Well,
Um,
definitely, depending on the actual age and the era. Growing up in the Depression, people had nothing. My husband was um, 7 years old, living in rural Newfoundland, and they didn't have like they still had dirt floors. They had to travel up the hill to go to the washroom. Like we're
yeah,
only in our 50s, but
yeah,
because of that memory, because of that knowing, he's the opposite. He won't buy anything, like even something he wants, and even if he can afford it, he cannot justify having it. And so the opposite of that is, I will never experience that again. If I want something, I will get it, and I prove it to myself by having all of these things I have never opened. To the absolute other extreme, I am not going to ever be in that position again, so I always have to have a safety net. And so what
yeah,
we've grown up with, and it doesn't matter, good, bad, beautiful, or ugly, very often our trauma is unique to us and doesn't even matter what it is. And we worked so hard to get to the absolute opposite of that. And that is still trauma. It's the polar opposite. And so our work, especially as spiritual seekers, as people able to make a difference, be of enormous benefit to heal ourselves and others, we need to find that sacred space in the middle. We're not way out in ego's territory on either space, always in fear. We're in this aligned self energy. We're well, I'm going to use my words. We're going to activate our power, and that's a real thing. It's something that we have to be able to do, is clear the sacred spaces within us. Yes, clean out your closet, clean out your car, clean out your bedside table. That energy is insane. But more importantly, clean out the sacred spaces within you. Your biome, which is your body's brain. You need to think clearly. You need to be able to experience without fear. And to be able to do that, your body has to be clean. Your biome has to be clear so that your hara is activated. Clear out your heart center. Soul needs to know without any doubt what your purpose is on this planet. And ego definitely needs to be cleared out, which is our pineal. This energy needs to be cleared out because it's how we navigate the outside world. And if you've got 7,000 filters, ego is always going to stay in the safest space. If your filters aren't even your own, then you're not going to be walking your true path. And so we really need to be doing that decluttering, let's call it, for the lack of a better word, and the theme of what the conversation has been so
yeah. I think that honestly, so much of this comes from a sense of lack too. Because when you grow up, struggling, it almost feels like it's a blanket of comfort to have all of these things around you. And so
far. That's right.
for a lot of people, I know it's like that. I grew up kind of middle class. I didn't really think about money as much, which was a huge blessing, you know, but then when you get older, you start to realize you don't really have a relationship with money.
Right.
So for me, when I got an abundance of it, I spent it as quickly as I got it, you
Right.
know? And I feel that a lot of us tend to also hoard money too and not spend it because of that lack mindset too. So it
Yeah.
can be a delicate balance between over and under
Yeah.
based on your relationship to these things.
And both of them are the extreme that is making us or rendering us unable to experience life from a healed space. We do all this work, especially as spiritual seekers. We do all of this work to be consciously competent and consciously aware and to raise our frequency and vibration. But we haven't cleaned the most important space, which is our true self, our physical, our emotional, our mental energy.
Yeah. There's just so much about the material world, even though we're not really meant to focus on it, has become a huge part of our society, our civilization. And when you see people that lose everything, that you mean the people that are literally just hanging out, watching a movie, all of a sudden, next thing you know, water is pouring into their house and everything is being washed away. I mean, that will traumatize you for not just one lifetime, but multiple. You'll
Sure.
carry, some people will even carry that because there's people still carrying trauma from the Great Flood that happened 13,000 years ago.
Right.
So it almost like a re-triggering. And for it to be happening for a lot of people at this moment when we're out of it like this crossroad, I mean, it's a hell of a lesson to be faced with at this time.
But let's imagine that we could look at it from an incredibly empowered position. And
Mm,
let's pretend that it is a trigger from past life. This is the opportunity. As spirit energy, we chose to come to human being. We chose a timeline that was material, a timeline that space, time, and material content is relevant, that we are meant to look at it, feel it, experience, know it. And in these moments that were triggered, especially with floods, water is very emotional. We
mm,
have the opportunity in this moment to be consciously aware and say, I'm here to learn this lesson. This isn't happening to me, and it isn't happening because of me. It's
yeah.
happening for me. And so in that trauma, of course we're going to have to get through the reality moments of this is devastating and I've lost everything. But if as a collective we know anyone in that situation, the opportunity is to, and I know this is going to sound lame, but the opportunity is to send love. Because as soon as they remember, as soon as they allow themselves to be present in the moment, there's going to be a beautiful lesson and opportunity. Now, it's way too soon to be saying that, and our prayers are still needed. But there is also the opportunity that in any devastating wipe out type of situation, that there is a cleansing, there is a purifying, and it's extreme. It's overwhelming. And
Yeah.
we want to send love. We just want to send so much love.
Could we maybe even do a little meditation or something? Send some, yeah, yeah. Well, as a,
Yeah,
since there's 65 people watching right now, maybe we can energetically send some
yeah, let's do
healing
that.
to that
Let's
space.
do that. Okay, thank you. Let me. I'm gonna channel it, but I would like to add one piece,
Mm,
and I'm going to explain that piece first. There is a mystic's prayer, and it goes something like this. This is my version of it. Dear universe, thank you for sending me all that I need and everything that I most deeply desire that I do not yet even know is possible. And
mm,
so, what's really important about this prayer is the truth. As human beings, we know nothing. We know a percentage of nothing. And so, if it's true that we're spirit energy, that we've come to this space and time on purpose for a very specific earth lesson type of situation, and something's happened that we don't understand, that we don't like, but there is this underlying premise that everything happens for a reason and for our highest good. If we ask for what we need and we receive it, and we truly believe that whatever we receive is what we need, a higher perspective of awareness of, okay, that sucks, but I obviously need it. If it's right in my face, I obviously need it. And I don't know what it means right now, but I'm going to make something magical out of it. Then we are in our sovereign power. We are sovereign beings. Everything is our choice, and we are creating our reality. So, dear universe, thank you for sending me everything that I need and all that I deeply desire that I do not yet even know is possible. When we have this energy, we are creating a conscious reality. We're co creating with Source. And so anything that we are asking for that we do not know is possible, we wouldn't be capable of asking for it. And so this unlocks that door, it opens that door. So let's take a moment to trust that every single one of us is a healer at our truest, most rooted energetic form. We wouldn't have come to human being if we weren't here to heal Mother Earth, to heal divine cosmic intelligence, to heal the bullshit that has been happening for the last couple thousands of years. And you definitely wouldn't be attracted to Laura if you weren't a healer. And so it's time for you to heal you. You are in the process of healing the healer, you. And from that magical, powerful, and empowered space with your own breath and imagination, you are able to be of enormous benefit to all of humanity. And when we collectively decide, I am healing myself and I am a healer, and we join our metaphysical hands, our one hand up, one hand down, grab a hold of the hand of the person beside you, their energy, and we wrap ourselves around Mother Earth, we change the frequency and vibration. We are more powerful than any energy when we surround ourselves in and as love. So let's do that. Let's place one hand up and one hand down, and let's metaphysically grab each other's energy and hold on. Maybe take a moment to connect to the energy to your right and just acknowledge them. For me, this is the metaphysical greeting called Alma. Alma says, I see you. You are seen, you are supported, you are loved. Let's do the same. Bring your awareness and your attention to the energy to your left and acknowledge them. Alma. And here we are sitting in an empowered collective of healers. We ground ourselves into Mother Earth with our metaphysical roots, deep and strong, anchored to her core. And an inhalation will open our hearts to give and to receive love and forgiveness, and allow that to move around the circle, picking up energy, the high frequency and vibration of love moving through us, within us, and around us, interconnecting us as the most vibrant circuit of healing light possible. And on your next inhalation, pull your energy up into your pineal. Give yourself permission to know that you're grounded to earth, your heart is open, and you have just become an antenna. Your love, your healed, healing, healer energy is now radiating all through Earth's energy to the mycelium, to the flora and the fauna, to all of the creatures, great and small, to every human being. May the love that we are sending now bring you peacefulness, bring you hope, and bring you a self-awareness, a deep, deep worthiness, a knowing of self. Self-love, self-awareness, self-esteem. Hold this energy. Feel it move through every layer of earth energy. May we bring awareness to all who have experienced tragedy, trauma, even disappointment, and to fill them full of love. Still imagining holding this circuit, bring the awareness to your own feet. And as you inhale, pull up this healed healer's energy through your legs, into your pelvic floor, into your belly, your heart, your throat, your forehead, and out the crown of your head. As an energy worker, I'm asking permission to place within your heart center an energetic button that you can press in any moment to be part of the solution, to be a calming, grounding, peaceful energy that is open to kindness, compassion, and love, and capable of radiating that to whomever needs love and support in the moment. Let's just sit in silence in this amazing circuit of healing energy and call in to the center of this space anyone you know who needs this love, who needs this support, to give them a cosmic hug. And if it's you, be in two places at once. Hold the circle with your body, but move your soul into the center. And we'll sit in silence for a moment as we too receive the love that we're willing to give. And with your permission, as an energy worker, I will clear your biofield and fill you full of this love. Beautiful. With your eyes still closed, turn to your right and acknowledge. Turn to your left and acknowledge. As you come back to the center, graciously release your hands, bring them to your chest, prayer position, hand over hand, whatever works for you. Let us give thanks. Choose any way to give gratitude that you feel necessary, or follow me. For all of this, I am truly blessed to have the desire to be a healed healer. I give thanks as I know this is so, and so it may be. Before you open your eyes, please move your body in any way that you need to release my energy and the energy of the hands you were holding from yours. Coming back into this present moment. Any burping, farting, sneezing, laughing, coughing, crying, yawning, we give thanks. That's a release. It's a healing for ourselves. There's no shame in that. We've got to stop shaming ourselves for releasing what our body can no longer hold on to. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, or ideas? And I'd love to talk about being a healed healer in a moment, but is there anything that you need right now from that experience that I can support you in? Laura, how are you? Where are you
I feel
at?
great.
Good.
Well, today I feel very mellow, I guess. I'm not my normal, usual bouncy, bubbly self, but I'm very much happy and content. I am, I have been watching a lot of the videos and things from down south. So I do have a high level of, worry and concern for the people that are down there, which has made me feel a little down today, I must admit. But at the same time, I also feel that the way that people come together, it's kind of like what I've noticed after 9/11, after you have something so awful, it tends to bring out the best in people, in most people anyway. So to see the people that are stepping up and coming together, and reminds me of, oh my gosh, who is it that said this? Was it Mr. Rogers? I think it was. He said when he was younger, his mother told him, if you see a disaster or something awful happen, look for the helpers.
Yeah.
And it's going to make
and
me
if
tear
I
up
can
now.
add, just interrupt you for a second. We don't look for the helpers. We look for the helpers because we are them. We are them. And so it's not looking out and around you. It's going within, finding your like-minded, like-hearted people. I love that. I love that.
We are a collective. We are, whatever happens to one of us happens to all of us, technically, and so it is, yeah, it's a time where we need to send our love as much as possible.
Yeah. And let's please remember that love always has to come first. Notice in that healing prayer, we didn't go right to them. We grounded ourselves. We opened our hearts. We connected to source. We made sure we had way more than enough flowing out and around us, so that there was no limit to what we were capable of giving to anyone who needs it. And that is,
I love how you were talking about I love how you're talking about our heart opening as well. And when you said that, I could literally feel almost like a pressure a little bit, not a painful one, but I could feel definitely something in my heart chakra when you said that. It was almost like a little flutter. And it's funny because all this entity release stuff that I've been working on and focusing on, whenever I notice that heart flutter, I'm like, like you get this reaction of what was that? Who did that? And then it was funny the other day. I asked one of the guides I was working with, and I said, "What is the heart pain? Can you clear that?" And he goes, "That's your heart chakra opening." And I thought, "What? What do you mean? Like that? Like it feels like an attachment or something?" And they're like, "No, that's your. It may have some fluctuations that would make it feel like it's fluttering." And I said, "Well, can you make it stop?" And they're like, "No, this is good for you."
Yeah, this is awesome.
Like you want this. This is good. Okay. A little discomfort is good for you every once in a while.
Yeah.
So that really made me laugh because my first initial reaction was fear, not fear, but caution, like, oh shit, what's going on? What do I got to do to fix this? But
I
really,
think
it's a side effect of expansion.
And that's where being a true healer, there's a distinction that we have to get really clear with. And that is this mine? Instead of going right into this isn't mine, it's something else that needs to be fixed, dropping into is this mine? Oh, it's mine. If it's uncomfortable, then there's activation there. In my 21-day quest, Activate Your Power, I literally teach people how to live in and love soul, to live in and love ego, to live in and love body. And as we activate the innate superhighway, we're literally healing our bodies, we're healing our soul, we're healing our ego. That work is never going to be done. We came to this planet, we chose human being because we are all healers, and we have to heal ourselves first. Earth chose us. We chose Earth because we're going to make a difference. And so that's actually what I have going on tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a free masterclass called Activate Your Power. So I teach you about those three sacred bodies, the biome, the heart, and the pineal, and how to activate the superhighway. And I do an activation as well. So there is that enhanced frequency and vibration. So that's complimentary tonight. I think Julia will drop the link for you guys. And I've also, every year, October to March, I do a Healed Healers 5-month online Reiki certification. So it's first and second degree over a 5-month period. It's 16 modules, and it's focused on empaths, channels, highly sensitive, starseed, those of us who knew, maybe don't remember right now, but knew that we came here to be a part of the solution. We want to go back to the basics. We want to go back to universal life force energy. And so it's really awesome because this course is available all the time. People can do it all the time. But October to March, I do live sessions as well. And so I think that if I'm not mistaken, it's $698 for 5 months, 16 modules, and 6 live sessions with me. And at the end of it is a certification, whether you want to add Reiki as a profession or you just want to be of enormous benefit by standing in the line at the grocery store and eliminating the conflict. Watching these horrific things on television that are happening, that are destroying people's lives, and being part of the solution. Having the ability to support your pet, your child, your parent, just being part of the solution. And so it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I just want to check and make sure that everybody that had questions got some answers here.
Well, there's a question. Anita said, I have a question. When you heal someone and the symptoms remain in your body, how do you release them? Good question.
So let me just clarify on that question, Anita. So you've done a healing on someone and you're feeling it in your body, or they're still feeling it in their body? Those are two different answers. So I'll start with you. If you're feeling it in your body, I want you to imagine that you have done something very common which is taken from them. When we are healed healers, we do not take their energy. Notice that in our session, we grounded, open, and connected so that we were moving that. We can take it and transform it into the astral plane where all conflict is corrected. But if you take it from them and you put it in yourself, then you haven't actually changed that frequency and vibration. You've just taken it from them, and that causes you harm and suffering. And so there is, in my processing, that would be dropping into your heart, cleansing the heart, moving to the pineal, cleansing the pineal, moving back to the biome. There's many processes, but activating your power is going to cleanse and purify you so that you're not holding on to other people's things. But if it's in their body, there's something in mysticism, metaphysics also follows the same premise, that we move through a 3-day cycle. Anytime energy medicine has been performed, it has to be released on the timeline because we chose to be human beings. The energy itself is instantaneously transported to the astral plane, but the side effects still exist. And so the effects are physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And so it's a 3-day cycle. In the first 24 hours after a energy healing session, any energy, it doesn't matter what it was, if energy has been transformed with intention, the physical needs to be melted away. And so in that 24 hours, it's burping, farting, sneezing, laughing, coughing, crying, yawning, maybe, hopefully not, but purging. So vomiting, bowel movements, just ways to get the physical material, trauma, and toxins out of the body. In the second 24 hours, what happens is our thoughts and our feelings. So thoughts are ego, feelings are soul. What happens is they get all entangled. And when we do any energy medicine, it disentangles. So we begin to think and feel in that next 24 hours. In the third 24 hours, spiritually, we have a new neural pathway. We have a new route of receiving the channeled information. And so the neural pathways of our brain have reformatted to be able to channel information to pineal, which is ego, that gets shared to heart, which is soul, that gets experienced in the body. And so my answer to your question is, if the symptoms remain in the body, it is a 24-hour process in most energetic cases to release the trauma. But if it's in your body, you have taken from them, and you need to learn a technique that is going to train you, teach you, protect you from taking on that energy. And my most simplistic form of doing that is what I call ground, open, connect, protect. If you're grounded into Mother Earth, she's constantly taking trauma, toxins, and suffering from your body. If your heart is open to love and to compassion, then it's not getting stuck in soul sacred space. And if you're connected directly to source, all conflict is transformed into the astral plane at its point of origin. And so we want to be in that process. And again, that's what I teach in Activate Your Power. Over 21 days, I teach you the process to be aligned to your own innate biofield. And again, that masterclass is tonight at 7.
I feel that a lot of people also need to keep up with their spiritual and hygiene practices, especially as healers, because there's a lot of us. One of my friends is a Reiki healer. She was working on a guy that had really bad hip problems. And all of a sudden, as he's leaving, he's feeling better, and she's feeling like her hip is hurting. And at first, it's like, well, I'm just going to clear this energy. It must be an energy block. And it didn't go away. And sure enough, she went to a shaman friend for healing. And he says, you have an eel attached to you. It was like this astral, we would consider it to be a level 1, like an elemental type. But it was gnawing on her hip.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, let me just clear that for you. And then the pain went away immediately. And so we don't just take on trauma. We take on all kinds of things from our clients that if the pain just pops up out of nowhere, generally that is a warning for something, whether or not you picked up or uncovered something, or whether or not it's actually an attachment, because these things
Yeah,
can be contagious to a degree.
for sure. And the spiritual hygiene isn't something that you do once a week or once a month. Imagine if you only brushed your teeth once a month. For those of you who have thick, long hair, imagine you only wash your hair once a month. This is something that needs to be done daily, if not multiple times in the day. If at any given moment, to any degree, that you don't feel mostly awesome, there is some sort of impediment within your innate biofield. And that's what I love about the 21-day quest is I literally am teaching you a 90-second energy medicine technique so that in any given moment you're like, whoa, I don't feel super awesome. You close your eyes, you take your breath, you do your 90-second technique, and you elevate your energy right away. In
Mm.
order for us to truly be healers, we have to decide that the most important patient, client, person on this planet is ourselves. If we are not in our own highest frequency and vibration by helping others, we're literally hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing is having that healed healer session.
And to also
Uh,
just to make these part of your daily schedule. Like when you're growing up, you're used to brushing your teeth. You're used
that's
to
it.
doing these little things for hygiene, making sure you got fresh socks every day, that sort of thing. So it needs to be part of your routine, and the more you can teach your children, the better it is for them, because it becomes part of their just,
That's
daily
right.
cycle.
Right. And we I'm going to say 15 in 10 or 15 short years we got trained to use technology for everything.
Yeah.
Imagine if our same reaction was to just take 90 seconds and clear our biofield. What if we actually believed that we were so powerful that we could be in a state of mostly awesome most of the time by taking 90 seconds out of our day a couple times?
Yep,
So
absolutely.
beautiful.
And
So
there's so
beautiful.
many things, like, you don't think about it. Out of sight, out of mind is usually my problem, because I don't think about these things. If I can't see the cords, I don't think to cut them. If I can't, you know what I mean? Like, that is part of the problem. You have to be feeling and sensing of these things. But also, for example, with the work that I do, almost every single time I'm doing clearings, or if I'm responding to emails, or if I open portals in my house.
Right.
I'm
Right.
constantly opening portals, and it drives me crazy because I forget. I don't even realize that these things can happen so easily. You can open a portal just asking a pendulum a question.
Right.
And
Right.
so just having the intention to every morning when you wake up, because you open portals in your sleep all the time without realizing it through astral travel and dream state, especially if you're taking any substances to help you sleep, you do all kinds of stuff without being aware of it in your sleep. So
Right.
all of this is part of a general, not just protection, but spiritual hygiene, to make sure that you're not leaving doors open, so to speak.
For sure. And so how do we as human beings, as individuals, decide that we are worthy of, 10 minutes in the morning,
Yeah.
checking in a couple times a day for 90 seconds, and before we go to bed, 10 minutes. Like 30 minutes of our entire 24 hours changes everything.
Yeah.
We then
It really
actually
does. Yeah.
become who we are
Yeah.
meant to be. We are spirit energy having a human experience. We're spirit energy in Earth School. We are not humans.
Nope.
This is
No, we're
just
not.
this is just the job. This is just the work that we have to do here. Human is our work. It is our job. And we're failing epically. We are beings of love and light. And we are giving ourselves permission to not matter.
There's a friend of mine that comes over all the time, and she's bless her. She was a full-blown muggle when I met her. You know what I mean? Like to the point where she didn't believe in anything she couldn't physically see. And after being around me for so long, little things she's adopted, from me because she just realized that this is a good idea. I'm going to do this. And it's funny because when last time she came over, I was doing clearings and I said, "Can you just check her really quick and make sure that she's sovereign?" And she was sovereign, and her guides were actually like, yes, like they were so proud of her. They were like, just tell her how awesome she's doing right now. We're so thrilled. And after I said, what are you doing that's making them so excited? She goes, I just ask them for guidance and protection every morning. And I've been scrubbing down with sea salt and I this and that. Just a couple little tweaks here. But her guides were like, yeah, like she was winning the Super Bowls because they were like, this is what you've been needing this whole time. And they're so happy that she's taking that initiative for herself. And it's like, yeah, our guides, they really get so happy when we start taking care of ourselves properly.
For sure. Because that's what we've forgotten.
Yeah.
Like that is part of the lesson. This temple body is a vessel and it needs to be cleansed and purified.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. So good.
I feel like there's going to be some major revelations happening for a lot of healed healers. People that are stepping into their power and finding their vocation, what they chose to do when they came down here. Any advice for somebody that's still kind of trying to figure that out?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to know yourself. Like to be able to sense from a physical perspective in the most minute way that something isn't right. To not be the last thought, to be your first thought, checking in consciously in any given moment. Am I grounded? Am I open? Am I connected? Do I feel mostly awesome? And the cool thing is that, that unconscious incompetence is mostly awesome is here and you don't recognize until you're here. We want to be making that gap as small as possible. Like in a second, a shift from awesome to mostly awesome, because immediately all you have to do is say, no, I do not consent. And that's all the work. That's it. It's done. No matter what that was, you don't consent. Was it someone else's thought, feeling, or expectation of you? Was it a trauma of shame? Was it an entity, an attachment, a non-beneficial energy? It doesn't matter. You don't need to know. Your energy shifted and you say, I do not consent. And it's over. So the belief that it's that simple, that we are that powerful, and that they are love, they are light.
Yeah. Beautifully said, Tracy. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything you've been doing for the Astara community. We're so blessed to have you as one of our educators and healers. And I feel that we have so much we've already learned from you and will continue to learn. So just wanted to express my sincere gratitude and everything that you do for us.
Thank you for having me. I love being a teacher. It's my purpose. I'm here to teach, treat, channel, and create. And so you guys let me do that, and I'm so very grateful. Is there anything you need?
I'm trying to think. What about the thing at 7:15 tonight? Is that on Astara itself? Yes.
It's in Zoom, but they can come in through Astara. Yeah, it's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is called Activate Your Power, and I will be teaching you about the 3 sacred centers. We will do an activation, and then I will invite you on a 21-day quest that has the ability to change your life. And so we just finished our very first live cohort, and it was beautiful. We ran it in September. We'll do it again in October and November. And so it's really a beautiful, energetic space. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here today. We appreciate you.
Yes, we certainly do. We love you all. Thank you so much. And I also feel like these activations are very exciting. So you guys don't want to miss that, eh? Because many of us are working on opening up better into healing and so this is a really wonderful opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
And also thank you to Julia, who's so wonderful always with these with the links. So helpful, Julia. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm so grateful to always have the opportunity to be here. It's very generous and wonderful of you to have me. And I'm sending you love and light.
Thank you, Tracy. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you so much. She's one of my favorite people to bring on the podcast. That's why we have you on every month. And yeah, thank you for everything. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to set a timer, an alarm, so that you don't miss Tracy tonight on Astara. Thank you, guys. I will see you all. Have a great weekend. Or weekday. Sorry, weekday. You can tell us.
Have a great, whatever.
Yeah. Bye, guys.